we're gonna compare it to Web 1 and Web 2. So Web 1 started around 1993, the internet. It existed and started way before that. Here in the States, the army and the defense industry was using it way before. But for the public, it was released to the public around 1994. So the Web 1 was mainly read-only and static contents. You cannot modify it, and all the stuff that we have now, we didn't have it, or people didn't have it back then. So it was basically read-only and static content. There was no tailored content like now. Like if you browse a little bit, like the search will be, with a focus to you, like with the AI and stuff like that. So no tailored content, no creation of content. You couldn't create content back then, and all the blogs and things like that. People didn't have it back then, and there was no monetizations and ads and stuff like that. Around 2004, the Web 2 started, and it offers you like read and write. You can read, of course, and plus write your own content, and with the social. And it's like Gmail was released around 2004, and it pushed Web 2. It gave Web 2 a really good push, along with the other giants, Facebook, Twitters, and all that stuff. And then it was like we had, or still have, user-generated content. People can participate, can create, can benefit from this content that they create. And with Web 2, we have tailored content. People use artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data, and all that stuff, to collect data, to crush it, to analyze it, and then come up with something specific to us that we can benefit from, and they can benefit from as well. But here, it's centralized. Whatever we create, whatever we use, all the information, including the passwords and all the information about us, our location, the addresses, the email, password, and all that stuff, is stored in their databases, in a Google databases, Facebook database, Twitter database. So they have the content. So it's a centralized system. Web 3 came with a further improvement. So it offers, of course, the read, write aspects, but it adds the own aspect. Right now, with Web 3, you can own your data. You don't have to store it in other people's databases and other companies' databases. You can store it in the blockchain. It's secured, it's encrypted. Nobody has access to it. You have access to it, and you have full control over it, and you can choose the people who can see it. So this is huge for people. So the system, or Web3 based platforms, are decentralized. There is no central authority, so its communication is peer to peer, and the product, or the platform, and the solutions that are driving this Web3 are, for example, blockchain, the main platform, and products like DeFi, which is decentralized finance, NFTs, non-fungible tokens. We'll be talking about this later in the presentation, DAOs and stuff like that. All the solutions, Web3 based solutions, and Web3 is accessible. So you don't need a password. You don't need there is no central authority that can force you to provide information to let you in. It's open by default. It's fully accessible. If you want to get in, you can get in. It's just beautiful. So right now we will talk about a little bit. It's not the full history, but short history of blockchain. So 2008 started with a paper that a person or a group, we don't know, named Satoshi Nakamoto. He released his famous paper about the Bitcoin, and he used cryptocurrency, the Bitcoin, as an application for the system that he built with others. So the paper was published in 2008. 2009, a network the platform was launched based on that paper. 2010, and this is funny, it's like the first transaction, which is like you know, a pizza, a person you know, bought a pizza for 10,000 bitcoins back then, 2010, and now it's worth more than $200 million. It's like the, you know, the most expensive pizza in the history of time. So 2011, 1 Bitcoin equals 1 USD, still early. 2013, 1 Bitcoin. So now, like, there is no Ethereum and all the other blockchains, only Bitcoin. So 2013, 1 Bitcoin equals $100. 2014, Microsoft start accepting Bitcoin. 2015, Ethereum launched. 2017, 1 Bitcoin equal like $10,000, and 1 ETH, what was you know, worth back then, 772. And you know how much both of this you know, blockchains are worth, or coins are worth. Like the BTC is like just huge. It went all the way to $60,000, and it came back, but it will go up. And you know, Ethereum, it went like it's still progressing and it's still growing. And it's both of them are very, very interesting and interesting platform, and worthy of investing your time in. Little bit of clarification about the term of blockchain. A lot of people confuse blockchain and Bitcoin, and they use them interchangeably. These are two things. So blockchain is the platform. Bitcoin is only one application of blockchain technology, and it sits on top of the blockchain. So yeah, so they're not the same thing. It's just two different things. What's blockchain? So we're gonna talk a little bit of technical details. We're not gonna dive, you know, we're not gonna talk about this stuff a lot. But like blockchain, it's just a growing list of data blocks that are linked together. Each block contains a lot of transactions, and each block is mined or produced by a miner. You might have heard of this term of miners. They make money out of like creating these blocks by solving a mathematical equation. And these blocks are linked like so, and it's basically a ledger. And if you have the latest transaction, you can go all the way to the first transaction. You can see the content of all of them. The Bitcoin ecosystem, it's open and accessible, as we already mentioned. It's a public network in which anyone, including a malicious participant, can participate without restriction. And this is because of the properties that blockchain has, which makes it, you know, resilient to any any attacks. It's a peer-to-peer network. So even though it's not organized by a central authority like, you know, the other applications are, yeah, it still works, and it works really, really well. What's interesting about this system, about this ecosystem, the Bitcoin ecosystem, is the more participants it has, the more secure it becomes. So, and the thing is, you know, if malicious attackers kind of like have control over more than 51% of the nodes, they can introduce you know, how can I say, blocks with the wrong information, and that it can serve them. But in the beginning, maybe it was doable, but now it's just it's almost impossible because of the number of nodes involved in the system. And as far as I remember, I think Bitcoin has like more than 100,000 nodes, and like 10,000 nodes, I think, just miners. So it's very, 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 very secure. And the more participants get in, the more secure it will become. And this is, we already mentioned, this is like in the blockchain we get rid of the middleman. We cut the middleman. There is no middleman. This is not a centralized system. It's a decentralized system. So the all transactions happen peer-to-peer. Building consensus. So after, like, whenever, for example, we make a transaction and send money to another person, you know, and that transaction gets into a block, eventually, like, all the participants in the network will have consensus over that transaction and will agree on it. Like, you can contact, you can reach out, you can connect to any node, you will find the same information as the others. That we call that consensus. Creating witnesses is basically, you know, all the nodes are witnesses of the transactions that happen. So if something is published on the blockchain, all the parties become witnesses. Yeah. The key features, we already mentioned some of these, but it's a write only. It's read, and write only. So once you write it, you cannot modify it. Basically, it's immutable, and it has a transparent data storage, meaning that you can see all the transactions in the blockchain. You can connect to it using an explorer, and you can see all the transactions that happen with the amount, all that stuff, with the addresses. You don't see names and all that stuff because, you know, people are represented in the blockchain by addresses. You don't see names and things like that. We don't have a KYC in the know your customer. So any like information that are specific to people, it doesn't make it to the blockchain. Just like you only see the addresses, amounts, and things like that. Yeah, and you have the option to, if you want to store something in the blockchain, you can, and it has some, you know, sensitive information, you can encrypt it and store it so other people, you know, don't see it. It's decentralized, as we already mentioned. There is no need for intermediaries or a central authority. It's consistent. The state is consistent across all participants, all the nodes participating in the blockchain. It's resistant against malicious participants, as we already mentioned. Like, you know, you cannot attack the system. You need to control more than with 51%, which is impossible. It's just like the amount of effort and money involved in this endeavor is just like too much. And it's, of course, it's open to everyone without constraints. Opportunities. There are a lot of opportunities in this in blockchain. Here we are just like, you know, listing a couple of them. We can start with blockchain, since you are you know, students and studying you know, development, software development. Like, the first opportunity is you learn you know, how to build stuff, build products for blockchain. How? You can start with dApps. dApps is short for decentralized apps. It's basically a name for, like, the apps are written in just CSS, JavaScript, HTML, and frameworks like, you know, React and things like that. But the only difference with the other, you know, web applications is that they connect to wallets, and they connect to the blockchain. So that's the only difference. That's what we call them, decentralized applications. It's just like regular Web 2 applications, but they connect it, and it's huge. So if you already know these languages, you can get in and you can benefit, you know, from blockchain. So this is for the front end kind of. If you wanna learn how to build smart contracts for blockchain, you need to learn a language to do that. There are languages to do that. The most, you know, popular is Solidity. Is very, very similar to JavaScript. There are others, Viper and things like that, that are, you know, based or very similar to Python. I highly recommend. So if you decide to go this route, don't go the self-taught route and just I'm gonna just learn by myself and go for it. It's gonna be challenging. But if you can do a blockchain bootcamp with some of the popular providers, they will make it really easy for you to find opportunities because of the their credibility kind of. Yeah, so this is blockchain development, and feel free to have to ask any questions about that. We can go further in more details. DeFi for investment, it's short for decentralized finance. Basically, whatever people are already doing in the finance world, decentralized version of it, they are bringing it to the blockchain. And there is a huge opportunity to innovate and create in this domain. It's still emerging, it's still growing. So there are huge opportunities in terms of investment and in terms of building the product for it. NFTs, you might have heard of this term. It's short for non-fungible tokens. It's like tokens, but like basically they use them for art. For example, if you painted something, like it represents basically art. And like there are some NFTs that were sold for millions and millions of dollars. It's just incredible. You can use them for music, movies, deeds, titles. Like for example, if you have a building that's worth like $1 million, $2 million, and you want to invest in it, you can bring in investors. You can reach out to your friends who have money, and you can split that building, the price of it, in NFTs, like for 10 NFTs, and you can sell it to your friends. And the more the more the value of the building grows, the participants, their NFTs, the value grow as well, increase as well, and any one of them can sell his NFT or her NFT to someone else and make profit. So there are, and you can use them like their applications, like it's almost unlimited. There are a lot of applications for NFTs, even for identification. Maybe you can use them for العقود الزياد اللي عندنا دابا في المغرب وداك الشيء. We can use NFTs for those as well, and for a lot of stuff that we don't know about. So also this domain, there are a huge opportunity for you guys to to apply this technology to the kind of the challenges that we have in Morocco in particular. DAOs, it's short for decentralized autonomous organizations. Basically organizing companies, businesses that are native to the blockchain. That's like huge innovation and creativity happening in the domain. I highly recommend you and invite you to read about DAOs and how you can benefit from it, and maybe do your dissertations on it. It's just very interesting stuff. For DAOs, you can benefit from it like without putting a lot of effort, with putting a little bit of effort, and benefit from the airdrops. Basically, if you participate a little bit and if you contribute a little bit to the DAOs, once they launch, they give you some tokens for free. Basically, they call it airdrop, and you can sell those tokens, so you can make some money. Play to earn, so you can make money just by playing games. And there is a company called Tender. When I attended the Bitcoin 2022 in Miami, Florida, their CEO talked about their product. They have a couple of games in the Apple Store, and she said that like they have a huge community of gamers in Brazil, and a lot of them, they pay their rent using income from these games. It's just incredible. So you can play games and make money, and you can use that money and pay actual stuff in the real world with it. This is incredible. Hold and earn, basically, you buy tokens, ETH or Bitcoin and things like that, and just hold to it. Don't sell it. You wait, and the value increases, and you make money basically. And people who bought the Bitcoin, Ethereum really early, some of them made basically millions, and some of them even billions of dollars. And there are different strategies. Just the second was long-term holding. Just buy and forget about it. Don't sell it. Just buy. And I mean, you don't have to buy the whole Bitcoin because it's just too expensive. But you can, you can buy a small piece of it. You can just put buy a little bit of it every time you can afford to. You can do staking, and there are other stuff. So yeah, and there are other opportunities that I didn't. We don't have the time to talk about now. Yeah, how we can benefit and how we can get to this world of blockchain is through wallets. They call them digital or crypto wallet. So you need to install it on your browser or on your mobile phone, and you create your wallet. When you create it, they give you a seed phrase of 12 words or 24 words. These are very important. This is your key. If you lose it, if someone else sees it and write it down, you are done. They can take your money. So it's very, very important. So if you are trying to get into this domain and create a wallet and put some money in it, make sure that this seed phrase is saved in a very secure way, in a very secure location. Some examples of wallets that exist are the first one is Liquality. Sorry about that. The first one is Liquality. I work at this company, for full disclosure. I'm a full stack engineer and leading the mobile team at Liquality. It's they have a cross-chain wallet, and their mobile is fully remote international team. We have more than 16 nationalities, and they are looking for good engineers. So whenever you are ready, feel free to reach out. And you can install their product at liquality.io. They only have a Chrome extension right now, and we are planning to release the mobile version sometime this year. I highly recommend you guys to download this wallet, because we are working on the DAO for Liquality, and we are planning on launching it sometime this year. Once this happens, we're gonna do an airdrop. So make sure to benefit from it. If you have some little bit of money, you can buy tokens and things like that using the Liquality and do some swaps and things like that to benefit. So you can when we are ready to launch the token, you can benefit. So you need to do swaps to benefit from this airdrop. And we are planning to launch the DAO, and we need people to participate. If you want to get into this domain, make sure to reach out to me or reach out to Asma. She works with me on this project. The second wallet is the MetaMask. It's EVM only. It's not cross-chain, but it's very, very popular. It was built by Consensus, one of not primary, but a very successful company that was started by one of the founders of Ethereum. It's a really, really good company, and I highly recommend you guys to go to their website and read about it. They have good stuff and good documentation as well. The third one is Ledger. Ledger is basically a hardware wallet, and it's mostly used by people who have a lot of money. As they call them whales, because they have a lot of money. And to make sure that they don't lose money, they use they store their wallet in a kind of like a USB key, and they only connect it to internet when they want to make a transaction, and when they are done, they pull it out. Some useful links here. The first one is Le Programme. This is a kind of a blogging platform website that I launched a couple of years ago, with the goal of sharing the things I learned, the things I discovered, the things I know about here in the States, and I share it with fellow Moroccans and other people in Africa, and people who speak French. The second one is Blockchain Africa. We just launched it recently with some friends, and the goal of this, and it's now on Facebook, but the goal of it is to educate people, especially in Morocco, starting with people in Morocco and expanding to Africa, about blockchain, how you can benefit from it, because it's just opportunities are huge in domain and still emerging. Grants is getcoin.co. It's very popular platform that allows companies to basically post problems, issues, and pay people to do it. So if you know, like, feel free to visit it, and you feel if you have the skills to solve some of those problems, you can get money. And they have a lot of money to give away, not to give away, but to pay people to fund, work on some of those issues. And it's like, I'm talking like millions and millions of dollars. So feel free to check it out. Tally.xyz just has a list of DAOs. So I really, invite you to check it out. Same thing with deepdao.io. There are a lot of websites that talk about this stuff, just like I listed a couple. And the last one is constancy.net, the one I just mentioned. They have a lot of research, and they just linked to their insights about the crypto economics research. So you can get an idea about, where the domain blockchain is. And that's about it for the presentation.